My name is Bryce Richard. I am the author of the book Conquering Our Basics. In this video, we are going to extract duplicate records from a prospective data set. One of the preliminary, what we call prepping requirements of a data set, among the many, is being able to identify duplicate records. You really don't want duplicated records in a data set because that can obviously compromise data analysis, and it can return faulty analysis with having analyzed duplicate records or counted, for example, duplicate records. So in this example, we're going to use from the library called Summary Tools, a data set called Tobacco. This data set has duplicate records in it. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to extract them and to identify them. So the first step is to install, if you don't already have it installed, install the Summary Tools package. I do have it installed, so I'm just going to load it. And you may get some preliminary information here that suggests it's been loaded. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to extract a data set within that particular package called Tobacco. So we're going to type in data, then Tobacco. And in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see under the values, it says Tobacco. We just type in the first two characters to actually bring that in. And if we click this icon here, we can go to the script editor, which is in the left-hand corner, upper left-hand corner of your screen, and we can see and kind of view the data set. In this particular data set, we have 1,000 entries or observations, followed by 9 columns, represented by 9 columns of data. So if you were to look at this, even if you understood the data, if you were a domain expert and understood the data represented in this data set, it would not be clear to you where these duplicate records are, or if in fact there are duplicate records at all. So to be able to identify those, we're going to take this line of code, we're going to make a reference to the data set Tobacco, and then these brackets represent records that we're going to extrapolate. So you'll remember from chapter 3 in the book that a comma represents the distinction between rows and columns. So everything preceding the comma represents a row reference, and subsequent to the comma is a column reference. So in this example, we don't have anything after the comma, so we're only interested in data at the record level. So if we press the enter key, what will come up is, using the duplicated function, 2 rows identified by their unique identifier, row 482 and 695, are in fact duplicated. Now, while this is helpful, it doesn't tell us how many replications of the record for each one of these that we have. All that we know from this initial code is that we have duplicate records. Well, this is a problem in the data set. So what we want to do is find out to what degree these are replicated. In other words, 482 is replicated how many times? 695 is replicated how many times? So what we need to do is add another field to this data set. We're going to add it at the very end here after the samp.wgts that gives us a true or false value as to whether the record has been duplicated. So this is some code that does that. So what this does is it basically says, give me the duplicated records or the duplicated records from the last duplicated record where it found it. And all this is just code that indicates whether there's a true or false value that will be represented by the record itself. Now this field will be called dup, D-U-P, and it'll be added to the end of this when we run this code. So once we run this code, we go back to Tobacco, and you'll see that there is a column that's been added based on the execution of this code that allows us to determine whether these records are duplicated or not. So to identify these record duplication numbers, we just sort this by using this little icon at the top, this upper and lower arrow. And when we sort it, it's a descending sort. What we will find is that there are 4 trues, and these are in fact the records that have been duplicated. So this line of code gives me what record was duplicated, but not how many. And so we can quickly identify here, 482 has been duplicated twice, 482 and line item 282, and 695 has been duplicated twice, as evidenced by the duplicate flag in the duplicate column. 695 is replicated by the number 282. That's the line item. So now that you have this information, you can now work with the data very effectively in terms of sorting the data and identifying the records for duplication. My name is Bryce Richard. Thanks for watching.